Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for allowing me to wave on to this important hearing today. Important to me personally because I'm a 24-year military veteran, and on that day when I was crossing town and passed the flagpoles with a non-U.S. flag up there, I asked my staff if they had a flag so I could replace the flag. Didn't even know if I could do it, but apparently if violent protest groups can replace a flag, then I could certainly do it as a member of Congress. In the testimony we've heard today, we've learned that, unsurprisingly, the Answer Coalition is affiliated with multiple organizations that are part of a well-funded network with ties to hostile foreign governments and jihadist extremist groups. The Shut It Down for Palestine Coalition, whose membership includes the Answer Coalition, has orchestrated frequent protest activity, including blocking roadways, tunnels, and bridges across the country. Mr. Greenblatt, I recognize the difficult line that you walk of protecting American citizens' constitutional rights while upholding law and order. As a veteran, I may not like the Supreme Court's ruling that burning and stomping on our flag is freedom of speech, but nonetheless, I uphold their ruling. However, when people commit crimes in this country, they're liable to losing certain rights and privileges depending on the nature of the crime. Does a history of illegal activity factor at all into the United States Park Police's decision to issue a demonstration permit? And we may already have that answer from Mr. Cuvelier.
Yeah, I believe that's a question for the Park Service in terms of their regs and policies.
So I understand, Mr. Cuvelier, that you don't keep records of groups and of activities. So if you don't keep any records, then from who is actual intelligence obtained from?
If an individual were convicted of a crime, there would be a record of that conviction. As far as organizational records, we do not maintain records on organizations. We base our permitting process, again, on what's codified in 7.96 of CFR and the applications permit and the pre-planning that goes into that application process.
My apologies. I ask you, from who is actual intelligence obtained from? You have violent groups, history of violence, history of destruction of property, history of support from terrorist organizations, known terrorist organizations, but yet you don't keep records, but you receive intelligence. So who provides that intelligence for you so that you can make a rational decision on who to give a permit to, especially if they've engaged in criminal activity in the past when trying to exert their First Amendment rights?
Thank you for the question, ma'am. We engage in an interagency planning effort. We draw on intelligence from all our interagency partners, be they the Capitol Police, the Metropolitan Police Department, Secret Service, and so that we all have visibility on all our different activities occurring in our jurisdictions. And that is one of the primary means in which we gather our intelligence.
So then let me ask this question. If you don't keep records, and if those records that from previous events are not kept in order to make a decision on granting a current permit, then is it necessary for Congress to issue to you the authority and guidance to, number one, keep records, and number two, to deny permits to individuals who have a history of destruction of federal property, of violent activity, of non-peaceful protest? Do we need congressional remediation to address this gap in your ability to grant permits?
If this committee or subcommittee were to take congressional action, seek our assistance for technical assistance, we would provide that. The 36 CFR 7.96 is largely structured based upon case law, and if there is other needs to review that or address that through congressional action, we would do so.
And perhaps if the chief of the Park Police were here today, we might have a real answer to that question. Thank you so much for allowing me to wave on. I yield back, Mr. Chair.